because with a deadline tonight at midnight, House lawmakers left Washington yesterday without a deal to fund or reform the Department of Homeland Security. That all but promises a partial government shutdown. A failed Senate procedural vote sealed the deal, with lawmakers voting almost entirely along party lines, 52 to 47, well short of the 60 votes needed to advance the legislation. Republicans were projecting progress in negotiations, but party leaders still sent members home yesterday after the White House sent an offer to lawmakers for changes at DHS late Wednesday. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said the offer falls well short of Democrats' demands.
I'm in the process of reviewing the most recent so-called offer from the White House. We'll take a look at it, but my preliminary assessment of it is that it falls short of the type of dramatic changes necessary in order to change ICE's out-of-control behavior and deliver immigration enforcement that actually focuses on violent felons who are here illegally, which is what the president promised to do, and he lied, because taxpayer dollars are being used to brutalize and kill American citizens or violently target law-abiding immigrant families, and that's unacceptable. In our view,
the shutdown will have an uneven effect across DHS, though, because ICE will still be able to tap into a $75 billion fund that keeps the agency running as usual. You've heard me say it before. That's that reconciliation package they passed last summer. Customs and Border Patrol will also have a $65 billion fund that's accessible during this shutdown. What's impacted, though? TSA, FEMA, the Coast Guard, and cybersecurity and infrastructure security agencies, they all don't have that same kind of funding, and that's where the pain will be felt. Want to bring in politics and policy reporter for Notice, Oriana Gonzalez, here to end a busy week on Capitol Hill with us. And this has been percolating in the background, a week of hearings and conversations about negotiating. Negotiations haven't really led us to anything. And so here we are on the verge of a partial government shutdown. Lay out the landscape for us. Where are both sides on this?
They're pretty dug in to what they're saying. The negotiations are exactly what you said, nowhere to be seen, to be quite honest. The Democrats had put earlier this week what they want to see done to rein in ICE, but Republicans were essentially not engaging with it. To that end, we're going to see tonight is a shutdown of DHS. I do want to say something here that I feel like gets lost in the sauce here, around this conversation. Yes, ICE and CBP have funding, but and yes, TSA, FEMA, et cetera, they will be affected. But already they were facing a lot of issues under the Trump administration. I mean, TSA has shortage problems. FEMA, for example, my colleagues Violet Gier and Anna Kramer broke that FEMA is sitting on, or Kristi Noem rather, is sitting on $1 billion of grants that have not been given to states that are explicitly for disaster prevention. So yes, of course, these agencies are going to be impacted by the shutdown, but these issues are already happening. So they're just going to be exacerbated by this shutdown.
I think that's actually a really important point here. And it's also part of why Democrats are saying they need to force this fight now. And I think we should underscore at the beginning of the year, because we're not that far into it, but it was clear to me in conversations with senior Democrats, there was no major appetite to do another shutdown. And then they saw what happened on the ground in Minneapolis, first with Renee Good, then with Alex Preddy. And Democrats felt, how can we not do something here, exercise the few levers of power that we have? So how long do you think your sources are saying we're going to be in this? Because if the negotiations are nowhere, which it seems like they are, then how do you even reopen the government, especially when you're just talking about one agency out of all of the rest of them?
I think because of that, because it's one agency, it's unclear exactly how long it'll go. I agree. I didn't think that we would be in this situation about 3 months since the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But what I have strangely heard so far, I spent a good chunk of the week talking to congressional appropriators because I wanted to know, is it shameful for the committee that we're in another shutdown, albeit partial, just 3 months after the last one? And to be honest, they're not exactly sad about it. They see it as like the committee was able to pass 11 bills, 11 of the appropriation bills. This is just a policy conflict. And so for them, it's saying, OK, we're on our way back to regular order. If the shutdown is kind of happening to this one agency, I guess it's just what's going to have to happen.
And is it Democrats and Republicans who are appropriators that feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah, rare moment of bipartisan agreement on that. And then, of course, as we're talking about where the fallout is, yes, it's at the agency level, but then there's also this kind of interesting new outgrowth when it comes to the House, because the Speaker, Mike Johnson, is not authorizing official travel for House lawmakers during the shutdown. So a trip to the Munich Security Conference for them has been canceled. A congressional delegation, we call them a CODEL here, was supposed to have left yesterday for that conference. Some House lawmakers who are planning to attend can still go if they travel on their own dime. Some of them are doing that. The trip for senators is still on, with a sizable co-delegation in attendance, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So walk us through where this is at, because some senators said yesterday, I was asking, for example, Senator Richard Blumenthal, are you still going even as DHS funding hangs in limbo? And he said, yeah, I think it's really important for us to appear on the world stage at this pivotal moment. Certainly no shortage of geopolitical issues for them to talk about. But now the House isn't going. What is behind this? Why is the Speaker keeping them here at home, especially when they weren't at work during the last shutdown? I'm just a little confused on the rationale here.
What we heard so far, and actually I think Emma Snow was the one that reported this first, was that a GOP aide essentially said that these CODELs get canceled when there's a shutdown for the House specifically. The Senate is still on. And I find it a little bit ironic because, to be honest, the reason why a shutdown is happening was because lawmakers were excited to go to Munich.
Yeah.
They were desperately trying to get out of town. And now, I mean, unless they want to, pay for their own flights there, they're stuck in the U.S. So maybe this could have been prevented, at least on the House side, but maybe perhaps even on the Senate side as well. But it's unclear exactly what happens. If, maybe Democrats will take this as an opportunity, to talk about what needs to be done for ICE on the world stage and get more of an audience that way. But we'll have to see exactly what happens, because, to be honest, after the last shutdown and then seeing this one again 3 months later, anything can happen there.
Ultimately, do you think that there is a deal to be made here? Do you think there are enough overlaps in the policy Venn diagram for Democrats and Republicans to put some guardrails on ICE?
We see some reforms that have, bipartisan support. So, for example, the wearing of the body cams and stuff like that. But something that Democrats do not seem to want to let go of is the face coverings.
Yep.
They want to make sure that those are gone and that they are actually identifying themselves to people. Republicans are not budging. The White House is not budging, because they say that, if they take those coverings away, they will be prone to doxing. Yeah. Whereas Democrats say if they're officials, if they're federal agents, if they're law enforcement agents, then they should be held to the same standards that other law enforcement agents are. And so we're seeing that discrepancy there that it does not seem to be going away.
Yeah, exactly. And ICE officials who were on Capitol Hill yesterday and on Tuesday all said that they feel that that's something that needs to remain in place. It's still a very much a live debate. Politics and policy reporter for Notice, Oriana Gonzalez, catching us up on all of it and helping us push ahead.